When considering an enlightened literacy paradigm, we understand that infants, toddlers, and young children thrive in environments when they are exposed to rich language and conversations. We also know that reading aloud to children extends language development and vocabulary learning. And we know that shared reading experiences have positive cognitive benefits. Phonemic awareness becomes a part of the cognitive schema as children make connections between sounds and letters and words in syntactically arranged sentences. These are essential skills that facilitate learning to read. And finally, when parents and caregivers read high quality stories with children, empathy for others is developed, and children learn to think about themselves and how to deal with life's challenges. While we acknowledge that far too many children enter school without the benefits of enriched language and shared reading experiences, early childhood teachers also understand that their role is to extend the existing schema of children who have benefited from families and preschools who provided these types of environments. But at the same time, early childhood teachers also well understand their important role in the lives of young children who have not benefited from these types of literacy rich experiences. And that's a tall order to fill. How can teachers provide a literacy rich environment for students that works well for both their students who have cups full or overflowing with literacy experiences, as well as those for whom their cups are empty or only half full? When we think of diversity among the students in early childhood classrooms, we typically consider race, culture, language, and socioeconomic status. However, diversity among young learners is also evidenced in the little literacy cups they hold when they enter school for the first time. The responsibility of the teacher is to provide equitable opportunities for all students. Thus, how can teachers fill those empty literacy cups for some students so they can progress as successful literacy learners along with their peers who bring with them full literacy cups? The sooner teachers address literacy equity in the lives of young children, the better. Keith Stanovich examined the consequences for children in literacy acquisition almost 40 years ago. He employed the term the Matthew effect, referring to the biblical passage that states the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. This is true in so many aspects of life, but is especially consequential for young children. Children who enter school with a wide range of rich literacy experiences will only gain momentum. They will complete kindergarten ahead of many of their classmates, and each subsequent year, their lead will be even greater. However, children who begin their school lives with few rich literacy experiences, regardless of their innate ability to read, need to have their cups filled with all the ingredients needed to become readers. In many cases, with astute and expert teachers, their cups can be properly filled in their first year of school. However, when this doesn't occur, these children will end their first year behind their peers. And when they enter the next year behind, a cycle is created. They will end each subsequent year further and further behind their peers. Sadly, too, the gaps become increasingly greater. The rich get rich, and the poor do get poorer. Reading interventions may help, but the gaps continue to grow as the expectations learning standards, learning outcomes, and standardized testing incrementally raise the bar for students. Eventually, for too many children, the entire schooling process becomes a source of frustration and an affirmation that the problem is them. But early childhood teachers have the power to interrupt the cycle created by the Matthew effect. That does not mean that all factors that impede early literacy learning can be overcome within the classroom environment and by the teacher. However, teachers can fill those cups with all the ingredients needed in the recipe for successful literacy development. At the same time, teachers can continually replenish the literacy cups of those children who entered school with cups splashing over with rich literacy experiences.